Hi and welcome to today's Mishna Brura study. Today we are studying chapter number 91. Sheyazor matanav, that literally he should gird his loins. Vayechaseh rosho, and he should cover his head. Bishat tfilah, at the time of prayer. Haita talit chagura al motnav. If there was, so here it means a talus, but he means more generally like a blanket, sheet cloth. Chagura, like belted, wrapped around al-motanav, around his waist. Lachasoto mimotanav lamata, to cover him from his waist below. So in our terms, he's wearing a towel or something. Asur li'itpalel, it is forbidden to pray ad sheyachaseh libo, until he will cover his heart. Ve'im lo kisait libo, and if he did not cover his heart, or shene'enas, or he was forced, there were factors beyond his control. Ve'ein lo bameh yitkaseh, and he does not have anything to cover himself. Ho'il v'chisa irvato, since he covered his nakedness, ve'hit palel, and davened, yatsa, he has fulfilled his obligation. So really, if you want to pray, you have to cover not only the bare minimum, but you actually have to cover yourself nicely, that your upper body is covered also. But if you didn't, so then as long as you weren't naked, you have fulfilled your obligation. Number 2, tzarich le'ezor ezor b'shat tefillah. He needs to belt with a belt. It's a special verb that means to put on a belt. He needs to belt himself with a belt at the time of prayer. Afilu yesh lo avneit, even if he has another kind of belt, she'ein libo ro'at erva, so that his heart does not see his nakedness. Remember, even if you're just wearing like a robe, you would need to belt it around your waist. So that's the one idea over here, is that you need a belt around your waist at the time of prayer, even if you have, we would say maybe the fact that you have in your trousers, the actual waistband of the trousers, says nevertheless you need to put on a belt. Why? Mishum hikon, because of, this is an extract from a verse, literally prepare. Prepare yourself to greet your God, Israel. So for prayer, we do something special to dress up in an appropriate way. Aval shar brachot, but other blessings, mutar levarech belo chagura. It is permissible to bless without a belt. Those are 3 different words for belt. Ezor avneit chagura. Me'achar sheyesh lo mechnasayim, since he has trousers. The Ramah says ve'ein libo ro'eh et ha'erva, and provided that his heart does not see his nakedness. Mishna Brura, the Shulchan Aruch continues in number 3. Yeshomrim, some say, she'asur lohotzi azkara mipiv, it is forbidden to that it should come out. Azkara literally means a mention, but what it means is a mention of Hashem's name from his mouth. But rosh meguleh, with a head that is revealed. Right? In other words, uncovered. With an uncovered head, you're not allowed to say Hashem. Some say you're not allowed to say Hashem's name with an uncovered head. V'yeshomrim, and some say sheyesh limchot, that we should protest or object shelo likanes b'beit hakneset b'gilui harosh, to not enter into the shul with revealed and megula, uncovered head. Number 4, kovim, hats. He gives a Yiddish word for it. Hakluim mikash, that are woven from straw, what we call a straw hat. Chashiva kisui is considered a covering. Aval, however, hanachat, placing yad, the hand, ala rosh, on the head, lo chashiva kisui, is not considered a covering. Ve'im acher maniach yado al rosh shalzeh, and if someone else places his hand on this guy's head, mashma, it is implied dechashiva kisui, that it is considered a covering. So you can't cover your own head with your hand, but you can cover somebody else's head with your hand. Number 5, lo ya'amod be'afundato, he should not stand with his afundato, we'll see what that is. Lo barosh megula, not with an uncovered head. Velo baraglaim megulim, and not with uncovered legs. Im derech anshe hamakom, if it is the way of the people of the place, shelo yamdu lifnei hagadolim el bavate reglaim, to not stand before great people, except with batei raglaim, really what leggings would be the right kind of word. You don't stand there with uncovered legs, that you're just wearing little shorts, when the custom of the place is that people who dress with proper trousers. Number 6, derech hachachamim v'talmideim, the way of the wise and their students, shelo yitpalalu ele kashem atufim, that they would only pray when they were wrapped up. Okay, so what does that mean? Basically means that's the idea of putting the talus over the head. The wise and their students would put the talus over their head. Uva'et za'am, and at the time of anger. What does it mean, time of anger? At the time when there is great difficulty in the world, and it's like we are seeing a manifestation of Hashem's anger. Yesh lechabek, he should hug hayadayim b'shata tefillah, the hands at the time of prayer, holding your hands together. Ka'avda kamemare, like a slave or a servant in front of his master. Uva'et shalom, and in the time of peace, yesh lihitkashet, you should adorn yourself, bevagadim na'im lihitpalel, with nice clothes to pray. Let's see the Mishnah Brura. So Mishnah Brura says, so that is saying he is forbidden to pray until he will cover his heart. So he says that he needs to see himself as if he is standing before the king, and speaking with reverence. Aima is maybe even more than that. Aima is like fear, that he's actually has a sense that he's standing in front of God. So whilst you may be willing to talk to a friend with just wearing a towel, you probably would not be willing to go into a job interview with that, and you certainly should not be accepting of that as speaking before the King of Kings. Sheyachaseh libo, should cover his heart. V'hu hadin kol gufo, the same rule for his entire body. In other words, not just his heart that he should cover the body. He shouldn't be undressed. You mustn't be undressed at the time of prayer. Hoyel, sensor tzelomar, this means afilu haya mimotnav ulemal arom, even if from his the word is loins, but what it means is even if from his waist is a better word, even if from his waist and up he was naked, Yatzai fulfilled his obligation because his nakedness was covered and his heart did not see his nakedness. Tzarich, he needs. So this is in number 2, you need to wear a belt at the time of prayer. Ubediavad, and posto facto, im hitpalel belo ezor, if he prayed without the belt, Yatzai has fulfilled his obligation. V'yashomrim, some say out further, the davka mishe ragil kol hayom b'chagura, davka, somebody who is accustomed the entire day to wear a belt. Aval mishe ole kol hayom b'lo chagura, but somebody who walks around the whole day without a belt, gam b'shat tefillah ein tzarich lachgor, even at the time of prayer he does not need to put on a belt. Umiu, however, midat chasidut, it is the measure of piety, af b'kihai gavna, even b'kihai gavna, in this manner, even in such a case, to wear this kind of belt. I saw in the Dirshu notes from Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky that he says this is only in a society where this is considered a good, honorable, fine way to dress, then there is a good thing to dress in this way. But if nobody is dressing in this way at all, even for formal wear, then it isn't something that would be even first choice. Avneit, a belt, Avneit shal michnasam. What he means is the belt of the pants, in other words, the waistband, hamafsik bein libo le'erva, that separates between his heart and his nakedness. Mishum yikon likrat. We wear this as an extra thing because of prepare yourself to greet your master. Ita b'zohar vet chanan. It says in the Zohar, Parshat vet chanan, man dekaim betzluta, a person who stands in prayer, by lechesuye reishe, he needs to cover his head, the einoi, and his einoi begin de lo yistakel b'shchinta, and his eyes, so that he will not gaze at the Shchinta, the presence of Hashem, the Shechina. V'hainu, and this means batalit shel mitzvah, with the talis of a mitzvah. So when you're standing in prayer, the Zohar says you must cover your head and your eyes, that you don't see Hashem. That's what the talis. V'chein noagin kayom, and this is our custom today. Lachasot rosh ad einayim batalit, to cover our heads until our eyes with the talis of mitzvah. B'shat tefillah, at the time of prayer, Shmoneh Esrei of the Amidah. Man defakach einoi b'shat tzluta. So he needs to cover his head and basically cover up to his eyes, and yeah. Okay, man defakach einoi, a man who would open his eyes b'shat tzluta, at the time of prayer. Makdim alei malach hamavet, he is bringing early upon himself the angel of death. V'ayim b'siman tzadihei Mishna Brura, take a look in chapter 95 of the Mishna Brura. We'll get to that in a few days. Shar brachot, other blessings, you don't need this extra level of dress. V'adin kriyat shema, the same for kriyat shema. The lo shayach, it is not relevant, this factor of hikon likrato lehecha, prepare yourself to greet your God. Kim kishomed lifnei melech, except when he stands before the king. So that's really the difference between prayer and other times, is that other times you are saying mitzvah words, but prayer is when you are having an audience with God. Mishna saim, trousers, v'adin im begadav munachim, and it's the same law if his clothes are placed vukim mamash alavetin, tight, right, literally attached, mamash onto his tummy, umafsikin ben libo le'erva, and are separating between his heart and his nakedness. So this, whatever kind of separation, whether it's the waistband or the trousers, whether it's some kind of tightness in the clothing, fine. Begiloi harosh, with an uncovered head, ein ver halacha, he goes into this in detail. Lo chashiv, your hand on your own head is not considered that you are covering your head. Deharosh ve'ayad chad guf inun, because the head and the hand, one body. Inun, Aramaic, they are. Ve'eina guf yachol lachasot atzmo, and the body is not able to cover itself. V'katava bach, the Bach wrote, mihu, however, nohagin lehamshich habeit yad shel habeged, we have the custom of extending the beit yad, the arm, of the clothing, al hayad, over the hand, umachaseh bo barosho, and you use that to cover, so the beit yad we call the sleeve of the clothing over his hand, and he uses that to cover his head. V'shapir, and it is good, chashiv, considered kisui, a covering. So that's a good way to consider it a covering, that if you'd put your sleeve with your arm over your head, that would be fine. Now, this was saying where you're standing with with shorts or whatever, ba'afundator, what does that mean? Hu ezor chalul shemasimin bo ma'ot. That is the money pouch that in which you place the money. So you shouldn't stand and daven with your money pouch. Ve'inenu derech kavod, it is not a way of honor. La'amod kain, to stand thusly, livnei Hashem yitbarach, before Hashem. V'chein ein nachon, right, playing there, I don't know, with your moon bag or whatever. V'chein ein nachon litpalel kaptitz, and so too you shouldn't pray with this kaptitz, or veged hatachton, or the lower clothing, or b'shlafrak. Okay, so he goes through, shlafrak is a sleeping robe, right? He goes through various kinds of clothing. I guess all of this would depend on the place and the time, but the idea is that you should be dressed in a way that is not just, I'm not naked, but is actually appropriate to stand and daven before Hashem. Now he says, Mugula, you can't say Hashem's name with an uncovered head. Uvizmanenu, and in our times, tzarich lasim be'et tefillah kova b'rosho. You need to place at the time of prayer a hat on your head, kederech sheholech barachov, the way that you walk in the road. Velo b'kova katan shetachat hakova, not the little hat that goes underneath the hat. In other words, the skull cap, the kippah. He's not talking about the little hat. He's talking about a proper hat. Ki ein derech la'amod ken lifnei anashim chashuvim, because this is not the way to stand in such a manner in front of important people. So Chofetz Chaim is saying every Jew must wear a hat when he davens, because that's how we stand in front of important people. That's how we go into the road. So obviously that's in a society and a time and a place where that is how it is an honorable way to dress. Today, I think it's very hard to make that case for hats, but you could much more easily make that case, for example, for ties, although the dress code in general today is less formal than it once was. Should not pray in trousers made of linen only. It is a disgrace to stand such in front of great people. I don't know if this would be like yoga pants or something. You're talking about very casual clothing. How much more so when he's wearing a sandal and his heel is open, so he's wearing these kinds of open shoes, slip-slops. Also, you shouldn't create these kind of sleeves that got a certain over drachtim, like travelers wear. And regarding people who are dressing inappropriately for prayer, do not bring to me the arrogant leg and the hand of the wicked. Do not bring to me. Umeachaya Adam de Leel Mashman, from Chaya Adam above, it implies that Filu Bavate Shokayim Shel Tzemer, even with the trousers made of wool, Levad, Gam Kain Ein Nachon, if only just wearing these woolen trousers is also not appropriate. Vakol Talu Lafi Minhag HaMakomot, everything depends on the custom of the place. Aram means Tiken Shelo Likanes Levet HaKnesset, but Min Alim Arukim. The great Rabbi Marmitz made a rule that you should not enter the shul with long shoes. What does that mean? Okay. And if it is a way of this place to stand with such shoes in front of great people, mutar, it's permissible. So you're getting the theme over here. Megulim revealed. So this is now saying that you shouldn't stand there with these legs that are megulim. Mihu, however, beged aroch, if the clothing is long, shechofet raglaim, that covers the legs, or ba'artzot tachamin, or in hot countries, me'od, she'omdim sham gam ken bifnei gedolim yachef, that you'd stand in front of great people barefoot. Then don't worry even about short clothes. Even if your feet can be seen. So again, that's the principle over here. It all depends on what is appropriate dress for that time and place. That's it for today.